I mean, man, freaking catastrophic failure. All right, YouTube, my name is Kenny. Thank you for checking out the channel. So, got kind of pretty sick to my stomach the other day. I had the YfZ completely finished in my head. Just had a couple small things that I needed to do, like wait on an air fuel screw or something like that. Took it for the first freaking ride down the road and blew it up. Yeah, so catastrophic explosion. So, check it out. The only good thing about the explosion is it happened like a day before vacation. So when I was on vacation, first day, I ordered a whole bunch of parts, everything that I needed to get it fixed. So it was all here waiting on me when I got back. But it still was just like a bummer, you know what I mean? Just check it out. Let me know what you think and enjoy the content. When I say that everything that happened last time happened again. So these two valves got bent when I took it for its first ride. I was like, what the heck, you know? It got a little loud when I took it down the street. It sounded like the timing chain. That blew apart, destroyed my cylinder, cracked my cylinder. The oil mod is broken off. The piston is, well, the connecting rod is all sideways. Shrapnel all in the bottom. Exactly what happened. So you all know what that means. Time to tear this thing down. Let's see what we're going to find that's broken in the bottom end, and hopefully it's very minimal. Hopefully I just got to replace some parts, crank, piston, cylinders, and then just reassemble this thing and go back up. All right, so yes, this is upside down, but we're good. We're going to go ahead and get the crank in and start reassembling. So what we have is the bearings and everything have all been cleaned out, sprayed out. We're going to go ahead and grab that heat gun, heat up that crank bearing in the hopes that it expands a good bit, because we do have the actual crank in the freezer. And it's going to take a couple seconds, no real temperature, but we're just going to hold it around there, see if we can get it to expand, and just hope that the crank drops right in. Right down in there, so we're good. We're going to go ahead and put our gasket material, the anaerobic, around the whole thing. No, I go with the anaerobic gasket maker because it's red, it's really easy to clean up, but it doesn't set up, so you have plenty of time to work with it. So if you get it all around both case halves and you tap it really good with your finger and get you a really good tack area, once you close it, you can easily wipe off the perimeter, and the part that's in between the cases will cure when there's no air present. I'm also going to just put a little bit of assembly lube in these little areas that are going to try to go into the. All right, we got the rod is up. Hopefully this just goes down on there with minimal resistance, like last time. That's it. So these should go down to 7.7, about 8 foot-pounds, but we don't have a torque wrench that goes down that low. So nice and hand snug up is really good. Just slight pressure. I got a pretty decent feel for it. So the bottom end is closed. And there we go. I like that. So I'm gonna clean this extra gasket maker off, and it's just really simple. The anaerobic doesn't set up unless it's in an area to where there's no air. So this just wipes off really good. It has a nice clean look to it. So we'll go ahead and just reassemble this side. It's pretty easy. This just goes in there anyway for right now because it's going to be timed up with the gears on the other side. New timing chain. We use brake cleaner to get make sure we get all the oil out of these threads. So that the Loctite does its job. I usually put a little drop of blue Loctite on there. Just to make sure it holds good. One more thing, so here is the gear that goes right here. If you can look at it, this side has a little spacer on the end that will keep it from being flush up against here, and that's the side that goes in first. And this is going to go down to 47. Alright, now I usually put some pliers or something down in here just to make sure I can get it down to where it should be. Okay. $47. Now you can use something else up there, but the problem is that this is padded. If you don't, you run a risk of putting an indentation or a crease right there, which is potentially going to leak in the future. All right, so gaskets on there. Thank goodness we used the grease on there so it makes them come off without sticking. We're just going to take a quick little look around like I did to make sure everything is seated. We'll get them all moving in there with the impact. Then I'm going to snug them all up by hand like I did before. Everything that goes into the cases is about 7 to 8, so this thing is like 7.8. Do a little bit of lube right there since I got it right here. I'm gonna hold that back. Make sure I get this clip right here, right on top of that pin. $54. $36. $56. Gotta get that out now. That was easier than I thought. We'll put the new one in. All right, so the machine itself is sitting up here on that Harbor Freight table lift that I absolutely love. We have everything prepared and ready to go in. I am just going to put my 2 dowels down in there and my gasket on, so that's one less thing we have to worry about. But we did get the bottom end put back into the machine. Everything's hooked up as it should be. We got the clutch lever arm, got the chain back on, got the starter hooked back up. We actually have the charger up here and everything, but hopefully we can get all this back together here shortly and get the machine running. All right, so we have the new replacement cylinder sitting right here, and we have the gasket on there that we're gonna get onto the other machine. But here's the destroyed one, just so you all will be able to see it. I do have to take the dowel pins out of it. Piston is stuck in there and not moving. But one of the things I like is if you have it on a nice sealed area to where this is sealed pretty good, you should see when you drop the piston in, it should go in. See how that just goes down slow like a vacuum cleaner? I like it when I see that happen. Pretty much very minimal movement in there. But I'm going to start off with letting you know this is a Pro X cylinder. It is the C model, and the C model is a little bit larger than the other ones, and it is, just in case your bore is a little bit more worn out, it's actually going to help that out. But we're going to go ahead and get the rings installed on this. And we're just gonna keep the clip and the pin here. But these are the top two rings. One's a little bit more thick than the other one, and by checking, thick one will go up top, it won't fit into the lower one. As you see, it won't fit, but it'll fit there. So this is the top ring. We are going to just place it in here just to get a ring gap measurement. Very tiny, as you see. We're going to get that measured real quick. So the upper ring, we want it to be 0.008, which is this one here. Barely fits, but no bigger than 0.0025. That one barely is in there. So, yep. Appropriate ring gap for this one. And we're going to check the next. All right, next one is 0.014, 0.020, really fits, and that one doesn't. So it's in that range. So 0.014 to 0.020, that's in spec as well. So we're good to get these installed. All right, so we have our piston here looking good. And what we're gonna do is just install the rings just easily. I have my upper and lower ring gaps on opposite sides of each other. So either the upper is here and the lower is there, or the upper is here and the lower is there. I don't have an official tool, never had an issue doing it this way, so I'm just going to do it this way again. So the lower ring gap is going to go 90 degrees from the exhaust. All right. Upper is going to go completely the opposite of that. So like I said, here we go. And those are good. We're going to flip it this way. So 45 degrees, we usually like to have the upper or the lower, and they just got to go opposite of each other. And then 45 the other way, we need to have the open gap here. So we're going to do 45 degrees. So from here, the gap is right there. You can see these two that are kind of butted up together. Then we're going to do the upper gap. It's the oil expansion. So there's that gap, and then the other gap is going to have to go down here, and it's the bottom one. Hopefully that didn't get anyone too confused. So 180, 180. So, all right, exhaust, upper, lower across from each other, and then upper and lower oil across from each other, and then gap. We're gonna go ahead and flip it over and carefully get one of these clips in there. The reason I say careful is because you don't want it to just go rocketing through your garage or your building and you never find it. That snap. So we're ready to get this installed. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is just rotate this up a little bit. I'm going to stuff some washcloths down in here. Make sure we don't lose this clip down in any of that timing chain area. Now we're going to make sure that mark is to the front. And in case you don't know, there's 2 exhaust valves and 3 intake. So we're going to start that in there. And that's it, it's across. Now to get the other clip in. So we'll just see if we can somehow magician that in there. See if we can hear that clip. Here we go. Washcloths out. Put a little assembly lube in the cylinder. We're going to slide the cylinder over top. Now the cylinder is beveled at the bottom, so it shouldn't be so hard getting these in there. Just make sure you get everything lined up. So the first ring I'm going to just squeeze down and it went over. Second ring I'm going to actually just squeeze the other way. And there we go, we're on there with those. But doesn't matter if you don't put the slide in. Let's try that one more time. So we have the cylinder in there, the piston. We're just going to make sure everything moves as it should. Thank God. All right. So that moves as it should. We're going to throw the other chain slide down in there. Going to tighten this bolt down just to hold it in place. So what we're going to be doing today in the video is just basically changing this one valve here with the 2 exhausts, I'm believing. The intakes actually did fine. These are the new ones that I had put in there, and I did just seat one of the old ones in there just to make sure I was going to be okay with it. But I'm not. I'm going to just switch it out again. But what I have is a couple of stacks of cloths, washcloths, 2 or 3 of them. And what this is going to allow me to do is press down on this valve here without the valve itself pushing down. I don't do anything crazy. I just use maybe a 12 millimeter socket, and I just press down and kind of wiggle. Press down, wiggle, and there you go. That's out of there, and this allows me to take out the valve here. So 2 valves are already out. The new valves did come with new caps for oil seals. I've replaced them once, but it looks like I've messed that one up a little bit, so we're just going to put the 2 new replacements in. This allows me to just reach in there and grab a hold of them. Go. Looks like I want to do it. So now it's going to be time to just get these valves lapped in. Alright, so we placed the 2 new valves in. They're just sitting in there. We're going to actually put some grinding compound on there, lap these in. We're going to sit this right here in the vise because that's going to help stabilize everything for us. But no real pressure, just sitting there. This is a little tool or adapter that I got from some of the taps that I had. I don't even know what it's called, but it works really well with sitting right in here on top of the valve head. All right, so I just push it down a little bit, add a little grinding compound onto the backside, under the lip of that. That grinding sound. Then I just put my finger back and work it back in. That's all I'm going to do for that one. Take everything out, clean it up real good. Now you're able to see that flat, dull spot there in the middle of that shiny. So that's lapped in good. Clean it out. Put it back together. So same thing. We have the 2 clips sitting in there as they are. And I usually just sit them in and line them kind of up and down. That's where I have the best luck. I get the sandwich bag again that I had, slide it over the top of the front. And basically, if it works on the first try, that'd be great. But I just push down, rock forward, rock backwards, and come up easily. And there we go. Now we just make sure they don't leak. All right, so I'm just going to pour some liquid in up to the top. See if it leaks. All right, everyone, so we have the head sitting here right behind us. We had absolutely no leaks, so that's great. Time to go ahead, get it onto the machine, and hopefully turn it over a couple times, see if we can get it started. So placing the head on right now is really simple. Just got to actually we have 1 dowel pin here. The other one's back here. It's kind of stuck in there a little bit, so I'm not going to really worry about getting it out. And we'll just drop the chain in there. It's not going to be no big deal. We got a magnet. So make sure we got the carburetor slid back good. All right, that's on there. Bolts, longer ones go on the inside. Shorters go on the outside. We're just gonna run these down. So first we're going to take them all in an X pattern to 22. And we're going to loosen them all. Then we're going to go down to 14. All right, now we're at 14. We're going to go 90 degrees. And we're going to do that twice. So we have the H lined up. If I can get directly on top of it, you'll be able to see it, but not the H. The hash beside the H lined right up, right there. And then we have this notch with the dot on top, and this notch with the dot on top lined up with the tensioner back in. Good tension up there. Gonna turn it over a couple of times with the crank, make sure everything runs smooth. Compression out the wazoo. All right, so we're good there. All right, everyone, so I hope you are enjoying the video. We have the head, we did put the valves back in there. You saw I lapped them in with the drill. It really works well for me. Forward, backwards. Use some good grinding compound. And I'm not really sure what that tool is that I have, but it works well. You can also buy adapters that have like the suction cup on the tip of it, and those seem to work pretty well as well. But we have the head in, we have it torqued down. You saw the torque specs, crisscross pattern. So we're going to go 22, 22, 22, 22, back off. 14, 14, 14, 14. Then 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 2 cycles in a crisscross pattern. All right, everyone, so you see it. We got it all tore down, got all those parts replaced, and now I'm actually just ready to get this thing ridden. So if you enjoy this kind of content, check out the next video and you'll see what we're able to do with this thing.